we're going to look at two different problems, and in this case they're asking us to write an equation of the line below. Pay attention to this word here, write an equation. So it's basically like saying write any equation. It doesn't matter what format. And there are two different ones you should know. Y minus y1 equals m parentheses x minus x1. This format is used if you don't know the y-intercept. Then we have the other format, y equals mx plus b. If you know the y-intercept, we're going to use this format. And just so you know that this is called point slope form, and this one is called slope intercept form. And the meaning of these names are important too, because they tell you the information you need to use the equation. Slope intercept form means you know the slope, meaning you can get the slope of the line, and you could also tell me the y-intercept. That's when we go with this format. This is called point slope if you're able to tell me only a point on the line and you're able to find the slope. Notice it has nothing to do with the y-intercept, meaning you don't know the y-intercept. Therefore, if I don't know the y-intercept, I'm going to go with this format. So again, just keep that in mind. Those are the two. That's how I determine when to use one over the other. But again, you could use either format. It's just one is more convenient than the other. So in this case, it says write an equation of the line below. In this case, when I look at it, my y-intercept is where this line passes the y-axis, and I can see they marked the point, and it does pass to the point 0, 3. So that is my y-intercept. In other words, all we're looking at is this number here. So the y-intercept is b equals 3. So we know the y-intercept, and all I gotta do is find the slope. So notice I'm going with slope intercept form because I know the y-intercept. So I'm gonna write down my equation, and I already found b. So far in my equation I know y equals mx plus 3. So all I'm missing now is the slope. So to find the slope, keep in mind slope is change in y over change in x. Change in y is, like, if you look at this triangle here, I'm going to draw a triangle to connect from one point to the next. So right triangle, a right triangle. So the change in y is going to be the length of this side. Change in x is the length of this side. So I'm just going to substitute my values. The change in y, in other words, how long is this side here from here to here? Let me just mark it with a red line. So how long is this side here? Well, when I count is 1, 2, 3. 3 spaces. So I know that the length of that side is 3 spaces long. Now I'm going to count the other side, and I'm going to count. So I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the change in x is 5. Then the last thing I need to do is when I trace my line from left to right. So I'm going to mark it so you can see. As I trace the line from left to right, you can see that the line is decreasing. Therefore, my slope is a negative slope. So I'm going to put a negative 3/5 as my answer, because the type of slope it is will always match the numerical value. So negative 3/5. So now I'm just going to substitute my number in there. Y equals, so my slope we just found was negative 3/5, x plus 3. There you go. I now have my equation of the line. And this is called slope intercept form. Let's look at one more example. So looking at this problem, I can see again that I do know the y-intercept. The y-intercept is located right here, and the coordinate of that point is 0, 1. And don't forget, the number that it passes through on the y-axis is at 1. So therefore, the y-intercept is going to be b equals 1. So that's the value it passes through, which means I'm going to use the format y equals mx plus b, because I know the coordinate of the y-intercept. And now I'm just going to find those two things. So again, finding the slope. Don't forget, slope is rise and run. So I'm going to do my triangle again. So I'm going to connect these two dots. we get from here to here, and then it goes up. And I usually always check, like I read the sentence, I always go from left to right. So start with the point to the most on the left and then go towards the right point. So here I have to go right and then up. So far in my format for my equation, I only found the y-intercept, which is 1. Now I'm going to find m. So m again is change in y over change in x. And all that means is find the length of each side of the right triangle. So I'm going to start off with, well, actually let me label. This side here is a change in the y, so the length of this side, and this side is change in x. So my change, I'm going to find the change in y first. So I'm going to count it out. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So my change in y is 8. And then my change in x is 1, 2, 3, 4. Change in x is 4. And don't forget, you need to ask yourself, is your slope positive or negative? So when I trace my line starting on the left side, so starting from left to right, you can see that the line is increasing. Therefore, my answer is a positive slope. So it's just going to stay 8/4. But actually, looking at that, I know I can reduce it. Actually, let me erase this. And you could look at the fact that 8 divided by 4 is 2. So my slope is 2. And now I'm just going to substitute that into my equation. Y equals 2x plus 1. And there you go. I have the equation of the line. And that's it. I hope it helps.